Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. Welcome to my review for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Putrid Figure. Now that's not referring to the quality of the figure, that's actually what the henchmen from Wild Force are called, although it's probably a word a lot of people would use to describe the Lightning Collection. This has been a very mixed wave for me. I'm not sure when this is uploading in regards to how I'm releasing the videos, but I think I released the Koda one first, and that one felt not only extremely cheap, but his foot broke off extremely easily. I practically just looked at it and it fell off. Fortunately, this one kind of hits a sweet spot, and honestly is one of the better figures in the wave for me, despite the fact that I am honestly rather indifferent to henchmen and villain figures. There's very few that I actually really want for my collection, so I'm not that into getting them or into army building, but they always end up being honestly okay figures at the very least, so there's that. So anyways, guys, until that, no, I'm just kidding. I always do the fake out end like it's a good joke. But anyway, accessories-wise, let's go over that really quick. He comes with 4 hands. You've got the ones on him. One's obviously a fist, the other one for holding his weapon, and then right here, you've got a karate chop hand, and then you have just kind of an open hand for, like, I don't know, looking menacing in a martial arts pose. I almost forgot to mention his little lightning part here, which is actually a little bit more intricate and unique than your standard one that's basically just like a tiny little wall of lightning. Also have his signature weapon, which is kind of this weird putrid, like, Negan club, which honestly looks fine. There's not a whole lot you can mess up. It's basically a gray bat with some, like, gold spikes coming through, and it actually looks pretty cool. Like, the gray almost looks like a clay, and then the gold is kind of almost crackling out of it, and it's got, like, a shine to it, which is actually kind of nice. But as far as the figure itself goes, there's not a whole lot you can mess up with these. I'm sure that there's some minuscule, unimportant detail someone's going to be upset about, but for me, this overall looks fine. My only complaint about it aesthetically isn't even a complaint, but it's just something you notice, as by nature of it being a basic-looking suit, is that you notice a lot of the lines from the articulation, and it's just more noticeable than others, but that's going to kind of come with the territory, and that's really the only thing I noticed look-wise. Other than that, it looks pretty good for what it is, honestly. The head sculpt overall looks fine. I think they did a good job with the purple paint. It's kind of got this nice little shine to it that makes it stand out. It makes the heads more memorable than I honestly remember. I kind of just never think about these guys, and looking at them, like, they have kind of a cool head. Like, that sounded weird, but they kind of have a cool mask. It's got kind of like got a neat look to it, and it kind of made me appreciate that. I mean, the rest of the body is basically just gray with some wavy lines and a belt, so again, it's hard to mess up. It looks fine for what it is. You know, the overall mold on mine was the most solid of them. It doesn't feel like the most solid I've gotten in terms of figures before. Like, it still feels maybe slightly loose, but definitely not on par with the other ones in the line that were more loose, and it doesn't feel like it's going to become loose anytime soon. It feels fine to maneuver with, and it doesn't feel overly cheap or anything like that, so I was very pleased with it. A very solid, middle-of-the-road Lightning Collection experience. Honestly, it's more or less exactly what I just need out of the Lightning Collection, for it to be just fine. I'm not looking for it to be this extravagantly detailed figure like it's a $100 figure or anything, but I'd also like for it to not have, you know, huge mistakes on it or break when I think about looking at it. And this is overall a very, very solid experience, and again, unexpectedly, one of the most solid experiences I had in this wave. It leads to kind of a short review, but I don't have a whole lot to say about this. I can just say that I had a decent experience with this figure, especially within this wave, so if you are a Putrid fan and you really have been desiring a figure for it, I can recommend checking it out if you want it, or if you like army building. The prices have risen a little bit on the figures, so army building is more expensive nowadays, so I would maybe wait for a sale if you want to army build unless you're just that desperate, but it's an overall solid release. They did do a Putrid figure release, I believe, back in the Wild Force basic figure days in 2002. I actually do not own that one. If future me remembers and I can find a good enough picture, I will put up a side-by-side or a cutaway right now, so I can't say for certain what the quality is like in terms of that, but I can say that this is definitely going to be probably an all-around better articulated, better option. You know, if the past one doesn't look that bad and it's cheaper to army build, I don't know, but it's one of those ones that you don't necessarily have a lot of options throughout the history of the figure, so I definitely would say that this is probably the superior pick, just based on knowing how the old basic Wild Force Bandai figures were. But anyways, guys, that's about it for this one. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.